All right, buckle up everyone, because today we're diving deep into how to nail that second officer interview.
We're going to give you the inside scoop using RoleCatcher's career and interview guides.
So you know it's going to be good stuff.
Absolutely. Think of it as your secret weapon.
We're not just telling you what to say.
But how to say it to really wow those interviewers.
We'll even sprinkle in some tips on how RoleCatcher's AI can help you tailor those answers.
Give you that extra edge to stand out from the crowd.
Before we get into it, let's make sure everyone's on the same page.
Sounds good.
What exactly does a second officer do?
I like to think of them as the unsung heroes of the flight deck.
Okay, I like it. Go on.
They're responsible for so much more than just flying the plane.
I bet.
They're working closely with the pilots, making sure everything runs smoothly.
Like what kind of things?
Think pre-flight inspections, keeping a close eye on all the systems during the flight.
Making sure everything's ticking along nicely.
Exactly, and don't forget those in-flight repairs.
Oh, right. Got to be ready for anything.
And here's where it gets interesting.
Okay, I'm listening.
You could find yourself working with both fixed-wing and rotary-wing aircraft.
So your typical passenger planes and helicopters.
That's right. Variety is the spice of life, right?
Keeps things interesting, for sure. Now, what about the career outlook?
RoleCatcher says the future is bright for aspiring second officers.
Good to hear.
Air travel is on the rise, which means more opportunities.
That makes sense.
Plus, there's room to grow in this career. You can climb the ranks.
And specialize in certain areas, maybe.
You got it. And of course, who can forget the travel perks?
Seeing the world. Sounds pretty good to me.
And the earning potential isn't too shabby either.
But let's be real, there are challenges too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Long hours, time away from home.
High-pressure situations.
It's not all glamorous. You got to be prepared for the tough stuff.
And I'm sure they'll ask about those challenges in the interview.
You bet. They want to see how you handle the heat.
So, before we jump into the questions,
Yeah, what about that AI magic?
how can RoleCatcher's AI actually help us tailor our answers?
Okay, picture this. An AI that analyzes job descriptions and tells you what skills you need to highlight.
So it's like a cheat sheet for your resume.
Even better, it helps you tweak your CV and resume to match what they're looking for.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But here's the real game changer. It gives you feedback on your interview answers.
So it's like having a personal coach in your pocket.
Exactly, and it's specifically tailored for the second officer role.
All right, I'm sold. Let's get to those questions.
Let's do it. Ready for the first one?
Hit me with it.
Describe your experience working on a bridge team.
A bridge team. Is this about actual bridges?
Not quite. Think flight deck.
Oh, right. The pilots, first officer, all working together.
Exactly. They want to see if you can handle the pressure of a collaborative environment.
Teamwork makes the dream work, as they say.
They want to see how you communicate under stress, how you handle challenges as a team.
Basically, if you're someone they'd want to be stuck in a cockpit with.
Exactly. So when they ask about your experience on a bridge team,
I need to show them, not just tell them. Yeah.
give them a specific example, something that really highlights your teamwork skills.
Like a time when you had to think fast and communicate clearly.
Perfect. Maybe a technical issue you had to resolve as a team.
Or navigating a tricky situation during a simulated flight.
That's the kind of stuff they want to hear.
And I should avoid just saying, I'm a team player. Right.
Generic answers won't cut it.
Got it. Show, don't tell.
And whatever you do, don't badmouth previous teams or colleagues.
Keep it positive and professional.
You got it. All right, ready for the next one.
Bring it on.
How do you prioritize tasks and responsibilities during your watch?
Okay, so this is about staying organized, especially when things get hectic.
Exactly. They want to see how you handle multiple tasks, meet deadlines, stay calm under pressure.
Sounds like a typical day on the flight deck.
You got it. So think about specific systems you use for prioritizing.
Like a to-do list or maybe a time-blocking method.
Perfect. Give them a concrete example.
Like that time I was juggling a million things and still managed to keep everything on track.
Exactly. Tell them how you determine what's most important.
Did you delegate? Did you use any tools to stay organized?
They want the details.
I could even talk about my experience managing a complex project.
With multiple deadlines and stakeholders.
That's a great way to show I can handle pressure and prioritize effectively.
And remember, avoid vague answers.
No, I just do the most important things first, right?
Be specific, give them context.
Got it. Clear and concise. Always.
All right, ready to tackle the next one?
I'm feeling good. Bring it on.
How do you ensure compliance with safety regulations and standards?
This is a big one. Safety is everything in aviation.
They want to see if you're committed to following procedures no matter what.
That you understand the importance of adhering to regulations,
Not just for your own safety.
but for the safety of everyone on board.
Exactly. So don't just tell them you follow the rules. Give them a specific situation where you had to enforce a safety regulation.
Even if it wasn't convenient or popular.
Maybe a time during training when you had to correct someone.
Make sure everyone was following the proper procedures.
That shows you're serious about safety and you can communicate effectively.
Okay, I'm seeing a pattern here. Specific examples are key.
You got it. Now what about things to avoid saying?
I bet "I always follow the rules" is a no-go.
Too vague, everyone says that.
Instead, give them insight into your process.
Your commitment, your attention to detail when it comes to safety.
Okay, show them I'm genuinely passionate about it.
All right, ready for the next challenge.
Absolutely, bring it on.
Describe your experience with navigation equipment.
Okay, this is where they test my technical skills.
Time to shine. Showcase that specialized knowledge.
I should mention specific navigation systems I've trained on.
What's your proficiency level? Any challenges you've overcome?
I could talk about my experience with GPS systems and flight management systems.
Perfect. Get specific. Name those systems, the software, the features you've mastered.
Okay, details, details, detail.
But be honest. Don't exaggerate your experience.
If I'm not familiar with the system, just say so.
It's better to be honest and show a willingness to learn.
Makes sense. Honesty and a desire to learn are always good qualities.
You got it. Now, how about this one? How do you handle emergencies on board a vessel?
The big one. This is all about staying cool under pressure
Following those emergency procedures.
and making quick decisions.
They want to see your thought process, how you would assess the situation,
And what resources would I use? Who would I communicate with?
and what actions would you prioritize.
So instead of just memorizing procedures,
Show them you understand the logic behind them.
that I can adapt to different situations.
Think critically and make sound judgments under pressure.
I could talk about a simulated engine failure scenario.
How did you handle it? Did you work effectively as a team?
That shows I can follow procedures while also adapting to a dynamic situation.
And what should you absolutely avoid saying?
Don't panic.
Exactly. Stay calm and collected.
Focus on teamwork, communication, establish procedures,
No rogue actions.
safety and teamwork first.
All right, ready for another practical question.
Lay it on me.
How do you ensure that the vessel is properly maintained and repaired?
Okay, they want to see if I'm on top of those maintenance tasks,
If you understand preventative care, if you can troubleshoot problems.
that I'm proactive about keeping things running smoothly,
Exactly. So highlight your experience with conducting inspections
identifying potential problems.
and coordinating with those maintenance crews.
Have you ever caught a problem early and prevented something major?
That's the kind of story that will impress them.
I could talk about that time. I noticed a slow leak in one of the tires.
During a pre-flight inspection.
By catching it early, we avoided potential problems later on.
It shows attention to detail and a proactive approach.
Now, what about things to avoid saying when discussing maintenance?
Don't shift blame.
If there was a past maintenance issue, focus on what you learned from it.
And the steps you took to prevent it from happening again.
Got it. Take responsibility and showcase those problem-solving skills.
All right, ready for another leadership-focused question?
I'm feeling more confident with each one. Bring it on.
How do you ensure that the crew members under your supervision are properly trained and qualified?
This is about leading a team,
Yeah.
making sure everyone is competent.
Upholding those high standards.
They're looking for someone who can mentor junior officers.
And foster a culture of continuous learning.
So I should highlight my experience with training
Delegating tasks, providing feedback.
and make sure to talk about my communication style.
How do you ensure everyone is on the same page? Regular meetings. Training materials.
How do you evaluate performance?
It's all about showing them you can lead effectively.
I could talk about that time I developed a training program for new recruits.
What did it involve?
A structured curriculum, hands-on training, even a mentorship program for ongoing support.
That's a great example of taking initiative and showcasing those leadership skills.
What about things to avoid saying?
Don't come across as a micromanager.
I want to show them I can empower my team, provide support,
Create a positive learning environment.
building trust, encouraging growth.
Exactly. Now let's shift gears and talk about cargo operations.
All right, sounds good. What do they want to know about cargo?
Describe your experience with cargo operations.
So they want to know if I understand loading, securing, managing cargo effectively,
Remember, cargo operations are all about safety and efficiency.
handling everything with precision and care.
Do you have experience with different types of cargo? Weight and balance calculations.
Procedures for securing various loads.
The more details, the better.
I've loaded and secured everything from standard pallets to sensitive equipment.
Sounds like you have a good grasp of the practical side.
And I can definitely talk about those weight and balance calculations.
That's crucial for safe flight operations.
Absolutely. What should I avoid saying about cargo?
Don't downplay the importance of this aspect.
It's a critical part of the job, and I take it seriously.
And if you're unsure about something, don't hesitate to ask clarifying questions.
Better to be safe than sorry. Right.
You got it. Thoroughness and attention to detail are key.
All right. I'm ready for the next one. What do we have?
How do you ensure that vessel operations are in compliance with environmental regulations?
So they're looking for someone who's environmentally conscious.
Absolutely. Environmental regulations are a big deal in aviation.
You want to know you're committed to minimizing your impact.
Do you have knowledge of those regulations? Procedures for minimizing waste?
What about your proactive approach to sustainability?
Can you give them a specific example of going above and beyond?
I spearheaded an initiative to reduce fuel consumption during ground operations at my previous job.
That's fantastic. Tell them about it.
We implemented new procedures that significantly reduced our carbon footprint.
And you even received recognition for your efforts.
It was a team effort, but it felt good to make a positive impact.
And what should you avoid saying when discussing environmental regulations?
Don't be dismissive, even if I think some regulations are a hassle.
Exactly. And don't make promises you can't keep.
Focus on my commitment to doing my part and staying informed about the latest guidelines.
You got it. Show them you're a responsible professional who cares about the environment.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground.
You're doing great, but hold on tight.
There's more.
We still have more insights and tips to share in part 2 of our deep dive.
I can't wait. This is good stuff.
We'll be back soon with even more expert advice to help you ace that second officer interview.
Stay tuned, listeners.
And we're back for more second officer interview prep. Are you ready to dive back in?
Absolutely. I'm feeling energized after all those great tips.
It's all about momentum. Keep that energy going.
Before we move on, I wanted to circle back to RoleCatcher's AI.
Yes, the secret weapon.
It can actually give us feedback on our answers, right?
That's right, and it's not just about having well-structured answers.
It's about tailoring them to the specific airline.
Understanding their nuances, their values.
So how do we use it to really fine-tune our responses?
First things first, you got to do your homework.
Research the airline. Got it.
Look for keywords, phrases, anything that highlights their priorities.
Like their safety culture or any specific initiatives they might have.
Exactly. You want to speak their language.
So we take all that info and feed it into RoleCatcher's AI.
Along with your answers.
And the AI analyzes them, gives us feedback.
It can even suggest ways to align your answers with the airline's focus.
That's incredible. It's like having a personalized feedback loop.
Making sure you hit all the right notes.
Speaking of hitting the right notes, what about those certifications?
Yes, those are important.
The commercial pilot license, airline transport pilot license, instrument rating, multi-engine rating.
They're often crucial for career advancement.
Even if they don't explicitly ask about them.
You can subtly weave them into your answers.
Showcase those qualifications.
It's all about strategy.
I love it. It's like playing chess with the interview.
Now, we've talked about those initial questions.
The basic stuff.
Yeah, but what about those beyond the basics elements?
Ooh, the secret sauce. Give me the good stuff.
Think about those specializations mentioned in the career guide.
There were quite a few different areas within the second officer field.
Any that particularly pique your interest?
I've always been fascinated by avionics.
The technology behind aircraft systems?
Exactly. I find it really interesting.
Highlight that passion. Show them you're not just looking for a job.
But a career. Something I'm genuinely interested in.
That enthusiasm will shine through.
Okay, passion. Check. What else can I do to stand out?
Don't underestimate the power of networking.
Yes. Connecting with people in the industry.
Attend events, join forums, reach out for informational interviews.
It shows initiative, a thirst for knowledge.
You never know what doors might open.
Or what insights you might gain from those conversations.
Speaking of insights, remember those pros and cons we talked about?
The long hours, the time away from home.
The high-pressure environment?
It's not all sunshine and roses.
Be prepared to address those challenges head-on.
Show them I can handle the tough stuff.
Think about your coping mechanisms, your support system.
How do you maintain a healthy work-life balance?
They want to see that you've thought about these things.
Well, I'm a big believer in exercise, mindfulness.
Staying connected with loved ones.
even when I'm on the go.
Those are all positive strategies. It shows resilience.
So it's not just about technical skills.
It's about those personal qualities that make you a valuable asset.
The whole package.
And your passion for aviation should be evident in everything you say.
Let that enthusiasm shine through.
Now, before we wrap up this part, a little challenge for you.
Okay, I'm game.
Think about those unique experiences or skills you have,
Things that might not be directly related to aviation.
but that could set you apart from other candidates.
That's interesting. I'll have to ponder that one.
We'll delve into those unique experiences in part 3.
How to leverage them effectively.
So don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon.
Stay tuned. And we're back for the final part of our second officer interview, Deep Dive.
Yeah.
Did you spend some time thinking about those unique experiences?
I hope so. Those can really make you stand out.
I did, and it really got me thinking. All those experiences that don't scream aviation at first glance.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
But they've taught me valuable skills, things I never would have connected to this career before.
That's what we're talking about, digging deeper, thinking outside the box.
Like, for example, I was captain of my university debate team.
Interesting. Tell me more.
It might not involve airplanes, but it taught me about communication, teamwork, thinking on my feet.
Those are transferable skills, gold for any interviewer.
So how do I bring these experiences up without it sounding forced?
Context is key. Listen for those open-ended questions.
Like, tell me about yourself, or what are your strengths?
Exactly, or when they ask about a challenging situation.
Boom, that's my cue to talk about leading my debate team to victory.
Against all odds.
It's all about drawing parallels, showing how those experiences have prepared me.
For the demands of the second officer role,
And what about when they ask, do you have any questions for us?
that's your chance to shine too.
How so?
Circle back to something you learned about the company. Connect it to one of your unique experiences.
Okay, I see. Like, if they emphasize teamwork,
You could mention your experience as a volunteer coordinator.
talking about communication to delegation,
Perfect. It shows you're engaged, you've done your research,
that I'm actively thinking about how my skills align with their values.
and it keeps the conversation going, lets you showcase different sides of yourself.
Before we wrap up, any final words of wisdom from RoleCatcher's guides?
One crucial thing to remember:
I'm all ears.
never stop learning. The aviation industry is constantly changing.
So I should emphasize my willingness to adapt, to embrace new technologies.
Learn new procedures, expand your knowledge base.
It's all about showing them I'm a lifelong learner, passionate about aviation.
Dedicated to growth, that attitude is gold.
I'm feeling so much more prepared now, thanks to RoleCatcher's resources and your guidance.
Don't forget their free account, and for a more personalized touch,
There's their co-pilot AI.
tailored feedback and support every step of the way.
All right, aspiring second officers out there, you got this.
Preparation is key. Believe in yourself.
And remember, the sky's the limit.
Best of luck with those interviews.
We're rooting for you.